We visited New Mexico for the first time in November and tried hatch chili stew at a couple of places. I absolutely fell in love with it, so I had to come home and recreate it. So this is my version, my take of hatch chili stew. I am starting by searing 2 pounds of pork butt that I diced into bite-sized pieces, and I like to brown it till they get nice and golden brown, just like that. Now I did sear my pork in batches because I did not want it to steam, but once it was all cooked, I added it back to the pot and added a half of a cup of yellow onions, and I sauteed that for about 3 to 5 minutes until those onions became nice and translucent before adding 4 cloves of minced garlic. I sauteed the garlic for about 3 minutes before adding a fourth of a cup of all-purpose flour. Now we are just going to cook this together until that flour is all incorporated and cooked all the way through. Then you want to add 2 cups of diced fresh tomatoes. Now I couldn't find fresh hatch chilies, but HEB had this in the frozen section. It's New Mexico certified chopped green chilies, so I used an entire container of that. If you can find hatch chilies, I would definitely use fresh, but these were amazing. I am then adding 6 cups of chicken broth and just giving that a good mix. Now this is optional. I found this green chili powder while we were in New Mexico, so I am adding 1 teaspoon of that, as well as a teaspoon of onion powder, garlic powder, salt, and white sugar. The sugar is going to help cut that acidity from the tomatoes and the chilies. Now give it a good stir, and we are just going to let this simmer low and slow until that meat is nice and tender. I let mine cook for about 30 minutes, and one tip is you do want to stir it occasionally because it can stick to the bottom of the pan. Once that pork is nice and tender, you're going to add 2 diced russet potatoes, and we're going to let that continue to simmer on a low-medium heat for about 20 minutes or until those potatoes are fork tender. At this point, you can go ahead and taste it, and if you need to add or adjust any seasonings, feel free to do that at this time. I had actually remembered that I picked up this seasoning when we were in Santa Fe, so I just added a little sprinkle of that. That just has some Mexican oregano, a little bit of cumin, garlic, nothing much. You're not missing anything if you don't add that. I am adding a picture of the stew that we tried in New Mexico. You can see that it was a little bit lighter in color. Not sure why mine was so dark, but I'm not mad at it because it was absolutely delicious. The pork was fall apart tender. The potatoes were perfectly cooked. This stew was so amazing. It was so flavorful, and I cannot wait to make it again. This is going to definitely be added into the rotation. If you try this recipe, and I hope you do, I hope you enjoy.